Hi, my name is Ben Alexander, and I have autism. And I know about a week or so ago I told you that I was gonna say what I thought about what RFK said about the autistic community. And I came on here and I'm ready to speak about it. And I do want to throw a disclaimer before I say anything and get into the weeds about this thing, deep in the weeds. I'm an independent. I really don't care whether you're a Democrat or conservative, liberal, Democrat, Democrat, Republican, whatever it is. Like, I don't really care about your political beliefs. I just want you to be respectful of my opinions, and I'll be respectful for yours. It's really that simple. And unfortunately, politics, it does reveal the worst in people, and it's sad. But my goal here is to unite people, not tear them down. That's the whole purpose of this. Is, again, I'm not, even if you are rude to me, I'm still going to treat you with kindness, kill them with kindness, that type of thing. That's how I live my life. I don't want to be a negative or mean person to anybody, but I do need to defend myself as well. But I trust that, and I pray that we could all have an open mind about this discussion and not attack each other's character based on disagreements. And that's kind of my disclaimer here, because I know this is a sensitive topic, and I know it can get people riled up. But my goal is to not get people riled up. My goal is to try to present you the facts that I know of what he said. So RFK, just to kind of paraphrase what he said, I'm sure a lot of you know what he said already, because it was very viral on social media. He talked about how autism's like a disease, and there's people that can't pay taxes, can't hold a job, play baseball, can't even go to the bathroom, like those types of comments. And it made it seem like, at least the news I was reading, that it was all autistic people are like that. And that is completely not true. I did try to do Google research, and I tried listening to other popular autistic influencers in the space as well. I do not think that was the smartest thing to say. The words, just the way he worded that, was like, autism's a disease. It's like, autism is not a disease. I'm highly functional. Actually, as I've got this video, I might have a job offer. I might actually have a job. I've been interviewing lots of jobs, and a job gave me an opportunity to give, or basically said, we'll put you on the schedule. So, again, I'm going to be proving that I can hold a job down. I know things didn't go well with my previous employer, Motion, but I was at Walmart for 5 years, working there as a cashier and all that stuff. So I've held a job before in my life. So it's like I've proven that I can go work at jobs, show up on time, and work hard. I've done that before. I really have. So I don't think that's true. And I've actually played baseball. I used to have a baseball glove, and my brother used to play baseball. So unfortunately, they had my sister played softball. My brother played baseball. I wanted to play baseball, but parents said too much. We're going too many places. There's only 2 of us and 3 of you. It was like, and again, I get it. I totally understand. Not mad. Because I'm not very good at baseball. I'm not going to say that I'm good at it, but at least I've been able to do it. I played an intramural softball game at college before. I was a sub. They needed somebody to play. So one of my friends is like, hey, you want to go play? I said, sure, I'll go play. I'll play intramural softball. And boy, hitting's hard. Like, hitting a softball is very difficult. I don't even know how MLB players do it. So respect to MLB players. So yeah, again, I've played baseball before. I've thrown a baseball. And I think the things he said were kind of not true. And then they were making it seem like, the lower functioning people are a disease. That's what it made it sound like. And again, I get it that there's hard stuff dealing with autism and the low functioning autism group. I 100% get it. I really do. But that doesn't mean that they're less than humans or they're called a disease. You know what that would do to somebody calling what you have an autism a disease? I mean, it's just, ugh. And again, you could say, well, people with cancer, they know they're diseased and, but at some point, I mean, I get it that there's such thing as sickness, but it's just the way your brain forms and the way you think. I think that's what autism means to me is, it's just a different way of thinking. And I think it's a disservice to call it a disease. And RFK has kind of said that he believes vaccines cause autism, and the environmental factors cause autism. I read maybe parenting styles, all that stuff, where there's a bunch of different factors. It's like, sure, I'm all for getting the environment correct, having a clean environment. I'm all for that. Getting the chemicals out of the foods. I'm not for eating poisoning food. And I live in America, and, there's a lot of problems with the food that's, I have food allergies, and that would really help me with food allergies if they got rid of all those toxins and chemicals and all those things that make the food very unhealthy. I'm all for making food healthy. I'm all for a clean environment. And I'm all for safe vaccine efforts as well. If a vaccine truly makes us healthier, I really want to know that. I've gotten shots as a kid, and I know I'm autistic, but again, because a lot of people vaccinate their kids, get the vaccines, because I think a lot of schools require you to get vaccine shots. And it's like, and then they say, well, vaccines cause autism. Well, wouldn't everybody have autism if that were the case? Wouldn't everybody have autism if vaccines truly caused autism? That's something to think about. And, they say, well, there's a rising cause of autism. More kids have autism than they did as growing up in the 70s or the 80s. I've heard other people say, well, we've become more aware of autism and we're more aware of the signs. Maybe in the 70s or 80s we ignored the signs. And I think there's some truth to that. I really think there's truth to that. And there's also genetic factors. If, let's say if there were two autistic people that married each other, do you think that the likelihood of that child having autism has got to be pretty high? So I think that could have a part of it too, maybe, where it's genetically given to you. It's like it's a trait that, it came through genetics. It wasn't, anything you could really control. But a lot of people I've heard stories where people have been diagnosed late in their adulthood. They caught me at very young, so I've been fortunate that I was younger. I caught it while I was younger, and they because at 2 years old, they saw signs of me being autistic. My parents did, and they ended up getting me tested, and thankfully we got that all taken care of. So yeah, but I guess another thing is I want to add to this is that. It's. I think saying that autism is a disease is a very dangerous message to send to autistic people, and it's dangerous to society because, non-autistic people might be influenced, whether it's on purpose or not, to treat autistic people like crap and bully autistic people, and that's so terrible to think about. And this world is beyond flawed. autistic people are humans too. That's where I have a problem with him saying autism's a disease. Those are the words I'm hearing, and that's where I have an issue. I know a lot of you are on Instagram. Maybe some of you aren't. But if you're not on Instagram, or maybe, I don't know if he has a TikTok, or his mom. So there's a guy named Darius. He's nonverbal. His mom says, chill on a plate, to try to get him to eat in slower paces. And, he stems a lot. He's known for the closet stem, It's like, I just love how genuinely happy Darius is. And he's nonverbal autism. He's probably one of those people that RFK might have a problem with, because he might not get a job, he might not get taxes, but maybe he does work a job. Maybe somehow he works because his mom is trying to give him the best shot at making it in life. I think his mom does an excellent job. Again, I just don't. Those are the type of people. And my mom used to work with, or used to work at my high school, working with the disabled people. I remember I'd go to mom's class before I go to school, and I would see them in their wheelchairs, bring them in for the wheelchairs. They're just they seem like they're happy people. They're just thankful to be alive. And I get that all their things, they have challenges, but life's all about challenges, man. It's all about challenges. But again, like I said, RFK's not wrong in the fact that, the environment's bad, we need to make sure, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say here, but, the environment needs changed, the food needs changed, and I agree with him on all that stuff. But the fact that he's saying autism's a disease and dragging autistic people, whether he means it or not, I don't know if he means it or not. I mean, he just might not know. But again, he might not know better. And it's just kind of a little sad that the world lacks in autism education, and it kind of shows where he's like, I've never seen I think he said something about, I've never seen a full-blown person with low functioning autism in their 70s or 80s. Yeah. And that's where it's like, maybe he needs to get a little bit more education on autism. And I hope that, and I think he's trying to study autism and see if he can find a cause for September. That's what I've been hearing, is that he's trying to find a cause of autism. And again, do I have problems with that? No, I really don't. I want to know everything I possibly can about autism so I can learn how to deal with it better. Because again, like I said, not everything in autism's awesome. There are negatives to it, but at the end of the day, it's not all negative either. And I think we take two giant extremes in this topic, where it's like, it's either all negative or all positive. It's like, we need to meet in the middle. There's some positive and there's some negative. It's like anybody else, any other human. There's flaws and there's strengths. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Autistic people are not different. And I'm all for autism research. I'm all for improving the lives of autistic people. Heck, I'm autistic. I want people with autism to feel loved and accepted, and find ways to educate people on autism and really be sensitive and caring towards those people too. But I'm not against people researching autism, and I'm not against autistic studies. I want people to learn more and educate themselves more on autism, because surely I can do that as well. And yeah, like I said, no hate. I'm not going to hate on RFK. I don't, like I said, he might just be a human that's trying to serve, trying to do the right thing. And again, I know he's a politician in D.C., but, he might actually be trying to do the right thing. So, and I've never met the guy. It's like, I don't want to judge the guy before I've had a face-to-face interaction with the guy. It's like, that's the thing with the politicians. It's like, I know a lot of them don't really care about us flourishing because they want to have all the power and all that stuff. But there might be a handful of people that want to do the right thing that are in D.C. for the right reasons. And I hope that, those people get into the higher positions of power like the president. I definitely hope that we can become more united as a country in the next couple years. Because right now it just seems like we're so divided as a country. And that's what I'm hoping for. I don't care who the president is. I just want somebody who unifies us. That's all I really care about. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. I'm just looking for somebody in the president's seat or any other politician seat that has great character, good morals, leads people well, makes others better, puts others before themselves. All that type of stuff. That's what I'm looking for in a leader. So yeah. Like I said, I'm not trying to get too political here. Again, I'm an independent. I consider myself an independent. So I just, because I want to look at the facts, I want to judge situations based on facts and making the decision based on the facts of the situation. Not lies, not, I just want people to be honest about things. And unfortunately, a lot of our society has kind of gone to the crap hole when it comes to being honest. It really has. And I mean, AI is not making it easier. People are using AI to deceive others. Social media is the same way. People deceive reality on social media. It's just, I hope someday as a society we can figure it out. And we can figure out a place that's better for all of us. Autism or not autistic. Every single person on the planet deserves basic human rights and basic respect. And they deserve to live the life that fulfills them and gives them joy to get up in the morning. I appreciate you sticking to the end of my video. I hope you found this helpful. Feel free to comment in the sections of your opinion of what you think about it. Did I miss anything? Because again, it's very well I could have missed something because I'm not a political expert by any chance. I don't really follow politics all that much. But again, I just wanted to make this topic because he said something about the autism community that I felt like it was appropriate that I needed to at least speak out and take some time to really think about the things and let the news come out, more news come out about this situation. That's why I waited 2 to 3 weeks after he said it. I don't know how long ago he said it, but it was probably about maybe a month or so ago. I can't remember because, again, I'm not a political expert. But if somebody's saying crap about the autism community, I need to say something about it because I'm going to defend the autism community. And I'm going to defend people of autism from false information and things that just aren't true. And again, like I said, feel free to share your opinion. I'm not going to, get defensive, but just be respectful. Just make sure what you're saying is respectful, of course. Because at the end of the day, I'm just looking for people that want to have genuine, respectful conversations with about these difficult topics. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.